Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren, and today we are going to be talking about Black Myth Wukong because, wow, I guess everyone's at this point run the benchmark, seen the benchmark, heard about the benchmark, listened to the benchmark, watched content on the benchmark, and the benchmark has been pretty controversial. So, let me know what you think. I'm kind of going to go through my day because it was quite interesting. So, effectively, in fairness, I've seen some reactions online. I've seen a lot of reactions online at the videos online, and I think it's a bit dumb. I'm going to be honest. Because the one thing I will say is, taking aside the performance of the ray tracing on whatever GPU it is, because let's face it, the ray tracing on that game, performance-wise, is destructive to every GPU. So it's not just down to AMD. They take a bigger hit. We all knew that was going to happen. We all suspected that was going to happen. I didn't kind of expect how much upset it would cause, because I thought it was going to be obvious and I thought everyone was going to see it coming. But I probably don't suspect, maybe even 4090 owners probably expected just how brutal it was going to be. So the backlash from that, I mean, a lot of people are just like laughing about it. I think it's quite funny. I've seen what it's done to my GPUs, and I think it's quite funny. At the same time, I don't care. I don't think it's that much of a big deal. But I've seen some comments which I'm kind of like thinking, I kind of need to go over this. I'd like to have some feedback on how people feel and how they've come to that conclusion. Because I was online this morning. So I'd already seen, I've read comments in the YouTube videos on it. I've been online, I've watched the YouTube videos. But I was online this morning in a forum, and surprisingly there was quite a lot of 4090 owners posting up pictures of their final benchmark run. So their benchmark score basically. And at 4K. So 4K, fully cranked. Ray tracing fully cranked. I think it's about 26 FPS, I think, is the score. And they're laughing at it. Not only are they laughing at it, everyone else is laughing at it. So they're laughing at it because they're like, holy shit, this game is brutal. This is it. This is what I'm getting. But there's no outrage. So I'd already done some benchmarks of the XTX, and the XTX 4K fully cranked on RT is 4 FPS. So I'm like, okay, we're all taking the piss out of our own equipment, post up a picture, hold my beer. And that was met in a very different way. So this was now funny. I'm going to guess this was now funny by NVIDIA owners. Maybe funny to some AMD owners. To others, damn right insulting. Like, I have seriously insulted them. And I didn't see that on the NVIDIA side. So I'm like, whoa, chill out, dude. Like, it is what it is. But kind of some of the reactions. So and I've seen this in the YouTube videos. So I've seen people making the content say it. I've seen people in the comments say it. And within my post on social media, I saw it repeated. It's a shit game. It's a shit game. Okay. Well, it's only a fucking benchmark demo. I mean, I don't know. Am I missing something? Has it come up early access that I'm not aware of? I don't know. Maybe these people are testing it. I know that some of these people that have said this, I know that they haven't played the game. So it's a shit game. Like, what is that? Is that how we're going to judge a game now? Because it's not down to complete performance. Like, the game looks amazing, and the game looks amazing without ray tracing. And from what I've seen in the benchmarks that I've seen, it's very scalable. So probably for most people within their target resolutions, they're going to be able to play this game, and they're going to be able to play it at decent performance, and they're going to play it where it will still visually look very good. So why is it a shit game? Like, seriously, why is it a shit game? I can kind of guess the people that are saying it's a shit game, and it doesn't take me long to check their profile and see what they're running to get an easy conclusion of why it's a shit game. Is that not, like, sad? I think that's quite sad. I mean, is this kind of... Are we now in a situation where if PlayStation release a decent game, Xbox users say it's a shit game, and vice versa? Is that what this is? I don't know. These people look too old to still be kind of acting in that way, but I'm kind of guessing that they are acting in that way. So that, I think, is a bit sad. The next comment was I was using NVIDIA features. Not sure what that is. So the picture of the benchmark we're on shows that I had FSR set as the anti-aliasing. So I questioned, well, what do you mean I'm using NVIDIA features? Well, I'm using ray tracing. So ray tracing is now a NVIDIA feature. Well, I've seen countless videos on YouTube of people saying, NVIDIA owners saying we can't do ray tracing, proving them wrong. So which way is it? If you struggle at ray tracing, it's a NVIDIA feature, or vice versa. Like which way is it? Because I'm not being funny, but AMD advertise ray tracing. They have their own performance graphs for ray tracing. The box that I purchased, my AMD GPU, just here, says ray tracing. At the front of the box, ray tracing. AMD cards do ray tracing. Like, everyone knows that they're going to struggle at heavy ray tracing compared to a NVIDIA GPU. Not every NVIDIA GPU, but obviously to certain NVIDIA GPUs. So, like, I'm struggling now to understand the NVIDIA bros say that we can't do ray tracing, but when you actually can't do ray tracing, it's a NVIDIA feature. It's not an AMD feature, it's a NVIDIA feature. And then that goes into, like, the next thing of NVIDIA purposely making AMD look bad in the game. How the fuck do you figure that? Like, how have NVIDIA purposely destroyed the game for AMD users? You can turn it off. You can turn the ray tracing off. As a NVIDIA owner, I probably won't run it with RT. It looks good without RT. It looks better with RT. But it looks good without it. And RT is a huge performance hit. Now, I might play with RT. I might not play with RT. I might wait till the next generation. I might wait till the generation after. This game might be 10 years old, and I might think, hey, you know what? I want to go back and play that, and I want to crank it all to the max, and I want to see how it looks. And that's fine. But to say that NVIDIA have purposely destroyed the game or made it bad when they have allowed, or not even they've allowed, it's the fucking developers. The developers have allowed you to turn it off. It's not baked into the game. Just turn it off. It's the same game. It's the exact same game that everyone else is playing. You have the opportunity to click off. Like, that blows my mind why people are saying that. I don't get that. Explain to me in the comments. Please tell me how NVIDIA have purposely destroyed the game with adding a feature that somehow is a NVIDIA feature, although it's a ray tracing, from what I'm aware, is for everyone. Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, whoever it is, just some cards perform better, some cards perform worse. It's not a NVIDIA feature only for NVIDIA cards. I keep seeing videos proving that that's not the case. So how is this NVIDIA feature now ruined the game when you can just click in the settings and just turn it off, and the game still looks incredible, and will probably actually play a bit smoother without it, because heavy RT generally, I don't know, it's generally not the smoothest experience. So I don't get that. I'm interested. Let me know in the comments, because this seems like, I don't want to say it's salty, and I don't want to say it's just AMD users, because it's not. I've seen a lot of comments on, like, the benchmark that I put up. I got a lot of comments saying it was a skill issue. Apparently I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I just run a fucking benchmark. Like, the computer's set up, it's all running where it is. I've seen other people I've run all the benchmarks on it. It compares perfectly fine within any other GPU benchmark that I've seen. It's not overclocked. That's not really going to make a damn lot of difference. I don't know. I can't really remember what some of the other comments were. Obviously skill issue, or I don't know. I'm just purposely trying to piss people off or whatever. Well, no. I mean, at the end of the day, it's my GPU. I fucking paid for it. I think it's funny. If it was in the NVIDIA GPU, I'd think it's funny. Like, it's not a fucking big deal. Not the end of the world. It's like, okay, it's a new game. It's a heavily demanding game. I'm sure it's probably catering towards the next generation of GPUs. It's not as if you can't play it. It scales very well with upscaling. There's a ton of settings that you can mess around with. And with the ray tracing, you can just turn it off. Turn it on, turn it off. There's options for low, medium, and high. I don't know, the medium. I was probably going to run it on medium on the 4080, because 4K high settings, high RT, is way too much of a push. Way too much of a push for the 4080, realistically. So I was probably thinking that I was going to run it at medium anyway. So at medium, the one thing that I didn't really like was it made kind of a smeary look to the water. It didn't have, like, the actual standard non-RT reflections made the water look nicer. So you had high RT, which the water looked nice, and then you had no RT, which the water looked nice, but obviously not as reflective. And then you had medium RT, which made it kind of look smeary and foggy and kind of like glue. So I don't know. I'll probably run it with no RT on the 4080. Now, I'm not going to say because I can't run it with RT, it's a shit game. I'm not going to say because I can't run it with RT, NVIDIA have destroyed the game, or NVIDIA have done it on purpose, because it's not just down to the AMD cards. Probably a lot of the 30 series cards, and probably a lot of the lower level NVIDIA cards, they're all in the same position as what some of the higher end AMD GPUs are. So they're all in this position. It's only really the 4090 that's probably going to force its way through. Everything else is kind of in the same position. So I don't know. I found it weird, and I found it really weird people saying that it's a shit game. You haven't played the game. It's not a shit game just because the benchmarks are low. And it was only a worst case over the top benchmark scenario. Like, most of the other benchmarks are totally fine. So I don't know. It seemed weird things to say. But anyway, this will be a short one. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll catch you in the next one.